Welcome to What Juices You, where we talk to leaders and find out what is it that fuels them, sustains them in the midst of significant leadership challenge. Today, I am joined by Matthew James, and he is the president and CEO of Purity Life. Now, Purity Life is a bit of a big deal in Canada. It's a full-service distributor of natural health, wellness, and grocery products. And Matthew's been at this for quite a while, been in this world, the health world, for, I want to say 30 years. Is that right, Matthew?
Indeed it is.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. Excited to join you for sure.
Yeah. So just to bring people up to speed, you had a wellness business that was, I just think you got like 7,000 retailers, you got 30,000 products. You just made a very significant acquisition. I have a lot of empathy for that because we've done that in the past. And just the amount of time it takes to get payback is immense. And so I can imagine that, you dug in deep to do this. And so now the game is integration. How do we integrate to different cultures, different ways of working, to different businesses? You've got different tech stacks and joining, merging your values and mission and vision and all that is a massive lift. And we just find in our world anyway, that the thing that's often missing is the ability to have that integrative leadership muscle. So we can do all kinds of other things, but when it really comes to integrating different functions, different businesses, different stakeholders, leaders, that's where they typically fall down. So I want to find out, how do you sustain, what juices you in the midst of integration? So we can go anywhere you want with this, but let's just start by, how do you sustain your fuel and energy in the midst of that very heavy integration lift?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. For myself, what really juices me and slash excites me is the innovation and people, process and systems. And so we focus a lot on that here at Purity Life. So on the people side, innovation related to the learning journeys that we have to improve their skills as managers and leaders at Purity Life. On the process
Yeah.
side, how we do business and what innovation can we bring to how we are doing business. And on the system side, that innovation is specific to the tech stacks that we use, leveraging of AI as our competitive advantage. And so we kind of see it in these three ways. And that really is what excites me or juices me every day, is that innovation that we can apply to the people, the processes, and the systems at Purity Life.
There's a lot there. There's a lot there. And so if you had to pick one that is the biggest moving target, what is it? Is it the people, processes, systems? I mean, they're all probably dodgy, but what's the biggest challenge that you would say is that you're tackling?
Well, for sure, when you're integrating an acquired business, the biggest challenge for sure is the people side of things, because you do business with people. You don't do business with systems or processes. Those are kind of these abstract things, but people actually are the ones that make the business work. And so, while it's all fine and good to say you want to go to one tech stack and one process, you have to bring the people along in that process. And each of the businesses that we acquired had their own culture, their own processes, their own systems. And so, to provide your listeners or
Yeah.
viewers some context, have been a
Yeah.
distributor for 42 years in Canada, distributing health and beauty and snack products. We never did frozen and refrigerated grocery, and so we always wanted to have that piece of the distribution puzzle so we could be a full service Canadian-owned distributor in Canada, servicing retailers coast to coast, plus our vendor and broker partners. And so we went on a journey that started 13 years ago to acquire this business that we have since successfully acquired. But it's unique in the sense that we didn't acquire just one business to integrate. We acquired a business that was owned by a holding company that had three separate businesses underneath it, all running with their own culture, own systems, own processes. And so when we're doing an integration
Yeah.
now, we're trying to integrate these three separate businesses into one. And that's not an
Yeah.
easy feat. And there's a lot of complexity to it,
No.
but it always starts with the people. So early on, we really identified that as, we need to do a cultural integration to begin with. And so we brought all the leaders together of the grocery and wellness business to really get them together to understand each other, going through Myers-Briggs,
Yeah.
Working Genius, a few profiling ways to understand people better so we could communicate better and kind of set the stage for how the integration was going to go. And then we've continued that with additional learning journeys like the one that we did with yourself and your organization, parenting versus partnering, and what that's all about, the push, the pull. And so that's been an important part of it. So while we're doing the technological IT stack integration, we're also doing the people integration at the same time. And so that's a
Yeah.
critical part of the success, and definitely probably the most difficult as well.
Yeah. The the adoption is just is always so difficult. I mean, I would say 90% of the time we don't fail because we have the wrong technology or the right strategy. It's always how can we get past those barriers of adoption and people really starting to feel enough comfort and that yeah, there's something in this for me as well. It's like when I think about change, it's like the biggest part is why should this matter to me? And I can imagine with, 13 years of in this journey of trying to acquire all of that time that you were wooing those that holding company and the three companies underneath it, the patterns, the behaviors, the
Mhm.
habits of how they do work, deeper and deeper and deeper, and all of a sudden you've got this one purity life. I could see that being a massive challenge. So talk to me a little bit about adoption and what you're doing there.
Well, so we are doing a number of learning journeys to get the managers on board with, the way we view things here at Purity Life, and the way we try to work with people so they understand themselves and their colleagues better. Something you could just put under the title, emotional competency is a very overarching
Yeah.
term. But really, the nitty gritty of that is the Myers Briggs, the working genius, and how that impacts the way people view things and how they make decisions and how they need to be communicated to. And, as another example of that, some of the work that you've done, I think you've done like the five driving needs and understanding
Yeah.
those of an individual. Those are going to be the way they view things or the way they process information. And so you have to understand that, sometimes we will just generally use, there's the thinkers and the way they or the feelers, excuse me, and the way they interpret things versus the logic. And we were just talking about this morning. If you try to use logic with someone who's has a lot of feelings, and those
Yeah.
feelings are what drive their decisions, it doesn't work. Not effectively, that is. So no amount of
No.
logic will bring a feeler around. And so we try to really focus on the organizational health or the individual understanding of people related to Myers-Briggs and Working Genius. Those are just tools. There's many others out there as a common language that we
Sure.
can improve the way we communicate with each other. And that way we can be more effective on how we can implement the new tech stack or a new process or harmonize policies, all that kind of stuff, which is very sensitive, and it's a lot of change, and it creates a lot of emotion for people. So to help manage that, we do these learning journeys to help give people the tools to be able to work their way through it.
Hmm. One of the things that happens a lot is there's that sense that we got central office and then we got all the different field offices, but you know, your mecca is in Acton,
Sure.
and I would imagine that you're doing a lot to get out to those different businesses and really create relationship. And I would imagine your leaders are doing so. How do you combat that? Yeah, everything's got to come out of the mothership, and we're just kind of at the behest of the mothership. What are you doing to ensure that you've got integration between out there and in central?
Well, it's definitely communication, and it's understanding and working in the businesses to really get a clear picture. It's one thing to, create a spreadsheet and do strategy in Excel. And it's another thing to actually go out in the field and work with a sales rep and understand the customers that they're dealing with and the processes and how things are different. Because we've set up our business into two distinct divisions: a wellness division with supplements and health and beauty, and a grocery division with all the
Yeah.
frozen, refrigerated, and dry grocery items. The selling process is different. A lot of the ways the operation is set up or the orders are processed are different. So you need to really communicate, understand, and do a lot of listening to then be able to innovate the processes and the systems and even the people to be able to create a one Purity life in terms of the way that we want to create it, so that we can all talk the same way. We can plug and play with moving people around, all using the same system to have greater visibility. But it's not something you snap your fingers and it happens overnight. It is definitely a journey that takes time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Matthew, underneath this all, we've had a fair amount of conversations because we used to
Sure.
work out at the same CrossFit gym, and we've done work with you over the past. And it's clear to me that, the food that is better for you or supplements that are better for you, and there's a health play here for Canada that is more of a North Star in your organization than, you know, sometimes people talk about mission, they talk about purpose, and they talked about that North Star, but it's kind of lip service. And I do not feel that's the way it is for you. Uh, and I want to just talk a little bit about part of your journey, because
Sure.
you are somebody right now who does two workouts every morning before you even go into work. And I've watched you. You're hardcore. You and your wife Julie are badass athletes, and so health and your belief in it, your value, and just how you model that, it's very significant. But it's bigger than that.
Sure.
It's bigger than just you individually. And so, what is it that you want to see in Canada because of Purity Life? What is it? What role does your organization play in the health ideal that you're searching for? Give us a little bit about your mission, your vision, and all that
Sure.
North Star stuff.
Well, we believe, or we exist as a company, and what our why is that we believe natural health products make a difference in people's lives. And clearly, 75% of Canadian consumers also believe that, because that's the consumption of natural health products in Canada, particularly supplements. And our
Yeah,
mission is really to improve the health of Canadians through these natural health products, being food, supplements, health and beauty that people consume every day. And so that's really what
yeah,
what motivates us or juices us every day. And many of the people that work within Purity Life, even with the acquired businesses, it's a mission for them in their daily life. They're attracted to the industry, they're attracted to the lifestyle, the products, and so they're living and
yeah,
breathing the commitment to improving the health of Canadians every day. And so then it makes it a little easier to do the job. Is everyone in that way? No. That certainly that's not the case across the whole company, but we definitely attract people in a number of departments that definitely it's a lifestyle thing for them, and that's why they're here working at
yeah,
Purity Life. And I would say a lot more employees are looking for that now. We were looking at bringing on some employees not that long ago, where I mean we always are, but talking to individual employees, and they're interested in working for Purity Life because it aligns with their mission and their personal values as it relates to natural health products, supplements, living healthy, exercise, all those kind of things. And so we get a benefit by being able to really focus on why we exist as a company and what our mission is when we're attracting employees and for the employees that are working here.
I can just imagine. So I'm thinking of Guelph here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Guelph, Canada. It's next to Toronto. And so I'm thinking of New Age Health Food Store on
Yes.
Woodlawn Road where I
Yes.
shop. And I can imagine that one of your reps calling on them who believes in the power of creatine or,
Hmm.
fish oil or whatever it is, and as a user of that, is going to call on the owner of that store in a very different way than a
For sure.
salesperson who's just handling materials, right? And so that passion has just got to go a long way in terms of resonance
Yes.
throughout the organization. Yeah,
Definitely does.
Yeah. Um, so Matthew, in terms of the acquisition, this is a long play for you. I can only imagine this is like a whatever, a 5 or a 10 year journey, and you're not 20 anymore. But there's got to be a lot that is in your mind around succession. There's got to be a lot that is a legacy play here for you. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? I don't need you to tip your hand and say I got this many more years left or not, uh, but because I don't think you're that close. But talk to me a little bit about the legacy and a little bit about the where you see Purity Life going.
Sure. Well, just to provide some context for the viewers and listeners, I mean, this business was started almost 42 years ago by David and Elise Chapman, that were local Acton residents. They are still the landlords of the building that I'm sitting in here today, and we've
Hmm.
carried their legacy forward, specifically, and that's the whole concept of why we exist as a company. Natural health products make a difference in people's lives. That was David Chapman's, the original founder of Purity Life. That was his vision for the business that we continue to carry forward to this day. And
Yeah.
so we are continuing down that road. And by bringing on the grocery division with the acquisition of Horizon, it allows us to even broaden the impact of that vision by being able to service the full store across grocery, wellness, items. We have a very aggressive integration plan to realize the benefits in probably less than 2 years, really, when we look at it. And so aggressive in the sense that we're moving aggressively, or have moved aggressively since the acquisition back in September, so not even a year ago, to rebrand as Purity Life Grocery and Wellness, to create one Purity Life with harmonizing
Yeah.
policies and procedures, with moving to one tech stack that we will have completed in about a year, a little longer than a year post acquisition. And so that's pretty
Yeah.
aggressive from an integration point of view, so that we can really unlock the benefits for our business partners, being retailers primarily, but also vendors and brokers that we do business with, so they can get more value and have a strong Canadian partner that can service their needs across the country and continue to follow this mission of providing products that make a difference in people's lives that will improve the health of Canadians. So that's really, ultimately what we're trying to do here. In terms of myself specifically, I mean, I'm 57. I got a little bit of runway left, I would say, for sure. But succession is always an important
Yeah.
thing as it relates to
Yeah.
ensuring continuity of the business, and it's something we talk about regularly here with our partners, Banyan Capital Partners. They're our private equity partners. And so having a stable
Yeah.
business that can carry that mission and vision and why going forward is important. So we do talk about it all the time.
Yeah. I bet you do. Um, just talk to me a little bit about AI. This is fascinating to a lot of people. And you were
Sure.
saying at the very beginning that AI is going to be central in how you do things. How will that show up? I'm assuming it'll show up like in the warehouse in terms of how quickly and accurately people pick products. But maybe I'm far off on how does AI serve you in your business?
I mean, really, it's our competitive advantage. We embraced early
Mm.
on the advantages of AI back in 2023. That's when our AI journey started. And we really looked
Yeah.
at to see how it could create efficiencies within our business. So, in the customer care area, using tools that through AI, OCR, and machine learning could automatically import orders and then put them into our ERP system, so we could scale our sales without having to increase our headcount. In the finance area, we've deployed AI software tools to accelerate the reconciliation of customer remittances. So something that used to take a person 3 hours, now the system can do it in 10 minutes, literally.
Wow.
Also
Wow.
using bots within that same software to be able to go out and get deduction information. In the customer relationship management area, so CRM, we have AI deployed. So when our salespeople are going in, it'll actually tell them, okay, you're looking at this customer, here's what you should pitch today. It'll also pitch
Mm.
to those customers that go onto our e-commerce system, customized recommendations based on what they've purchased before. We use AI chatbots within our online e-commerce system. And then we also have licenses for ChatGPT, over 120 licenses for ChatGPT. So users can embrace efficiencies, knowing they can use the tool safety. We're also a big fan of Notebook LM, which is a really great system for enhancing the presentations of our sales team and providing information in the way people want to learn, whether that's a podcast, a slide deck, a video, an infograph, whatever it may be. And so we've deployed AI in multiple different areas across our business. And I've just highlighted a few because we
Mhm.
know how transformational it is and what competitive advantage it provides us to be able to do more for less, because that's the reality. As a distributor, we are in the middle. The broker wants us to do more for less. The vendor wants us to do more for less. The retailer wants us to do more for less. We're getting squeezed in every single direction. And the only way we can do that is to scale our sales faster than our expenses using AI to create significant efficiencies in our business. And we do a number of learning journeys on AI too. So we've done a number on ChatGPT for users. We've done a number on Notebook LM for users, just because it's so important right now with the efficiencies that are being created and the speed in terms of which you can now respond to customers or business partners, just because the efficiencies that a ChatGPT or Notebook LM provide to you when you're just sitting here right at your desk.
What I'm hearing is that the average employee inside Purity Life is not sitting there going, AI is about to take my job away. Number one, as you said, you're always looking to hire more people. And what you just said was it allows us to scale and grow and still keep about the same amount of people. So we're not talking about a workforce that's feeling like the guillotine is placed over them because of AI.
No, really, it's the opposite of that in the sense, like from our experience on the wellness side. What we've seen is that it creates more engagement for people because they're not caught up in the drudgery of data entry, data manipulation. A lot of that can be done now very efficiently
Oh yeah,
with AI. And so that creates more engagement for users. And we're very clear, we don't believe AI is going to take people's jobs away, but we do believe it will take people's jobs away that don't use AI and aren't familiar with it, because AI has become such an integral part of people's daily life here at Purity Life that they need to know how to leverage it. And we will provide training to create more efficiencies in their day so that we can generate more volume and do the reality which all our business partners want to do, which is more for less all the time, more for
totally,
less. We're under a
totally.
lot of pressure in all the stuff that's going on in the world with tariffs and fuel prices. Those are all the things that create issues of expenses going up. And then, you got to manage all of that. And how do you do it? And so we try to use and leverage technology as much as possible in that journey.
Yeah. The sense that I get from you as you talk about it is the holy grail is how do we have the width of human and all of that beautiful authenticity and all of the beautiful idiosyncratic behavior that comes with a human being and all the efficiency of AI. And so Notebook LM, for instance, sounds like just the best of both worlds, where it allows me, because of this technology, to be able to have the type of interaction with our customers where I can add actually more value and create something more bespoke, more tailor-made because of AI. Is that true in
That is
that area
correct.
and
Yeah.
other areas? Yeah,
For sure,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, certainly on the sales side, it's putting together information the way the buyer wants to receive it. It's bringing more life to the presentation so that they're more impactful. Uh, that's a very specific application on the sales side. In the finance area, it's just basically making the month-end reconciliations, the transactional reconciliations so much faster, and again, less drudgery where you have to be sitting there, reconciling information by hand or using Excel and trying to reconcile data, where you can push that into AI through various, whether it's out of the box software applications like the one I reference Esker, or whether it's using ChatGPT, OpenAI's models to be able to manipulate data. And so we provide all various options and tools in terms of being able to create efficiencies and the training, which is important as well.
Right. You give back to Canada because those products do change people's lives, and I can't even tell you how much money I spend on your products every week and month. It's embarrassing.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And but they make a difference in my life. I'm 68 years old, and just to be able to move is a challenge, and to keep
True.
mobile. But without a lot of those products, like every single morning is greens, and then creatine, et cetera, and fish oil, and all these things that I pay you handsomely for, and I'm very, very thankful. So there is a giving back to the community that way, but there are other ways that I think your organization gives back to the world. So yeah, a standard of life and way of working for your employees. But what are some of the other things that you would say Purity Life is proud of in terms of here's how we give back?
We really believe in making a difference in our employees' lives. And so, one of our value statement is commit. That's the acronym: collaboration, operational excellence, mutual respect, making a difference in our employees' lives, and integrity and transparency. And so, making a difference in employees' lives here at Purity Life is the learning journeys, the training that we provide so we can improve their skills so they can be better at what they do at Purity Life or beyond. We
Right.
have a level up program that is a very specific program for helping employees level up their skills in combination with these learning journeys that we do. And we've done the one with yourself, but we've done a whole suite of other ones as well, so that we're constantly trying to invest in making a difference in our employees' lives. And then we have other various programs, whether it's free supplements every 3 months, or the base level supplements to help with health, should people choose to do that.
Mhm.
A wellness credit for fitness for people that want to invest in their health. We have a marketplace here where people can go and get products at a much very reduced rate to be able to try them. And then we have some of our benefit programs that are very specific. We use Maple telehealth. A lot of people really like because it makes it simple. So we really try to focus our programs on our employees here and make a difference in their lives, because they're going to make a difference to our business. And we believe in
Yep.
this whole thing, the flywheel, where, if you've got happy, engaged employees, by giving them the right tools, the right training, just the AI, computers that work, how to communicate with each other, that they're going to impart that engagement on our business partners, being retailers, brokers, vendors, which then will allow us to grow our business here at Purity Life, because we'll generate more sales and profit, which then we can reinvest in our business, which is the general growth of the business in terms of how we expand it, but also reinvest in our employees. And that flywheel just keeps going around and around as we put more energy to improve the employee experience here. And that's different, I should say, too, for when we're going through this integration. That means different things to different people as we integrate these
Sure.
businesses. But that's the
Yep.
ultimate goal of what we're trying to achieve, is make a difference in our employees' lives so they'll be more engaged, and they can impart that engagement on our business partners, which will allow us to continue to grow and be successful.
Hmm. So Matthew, how do you sustain your energy? And I know, you talked about what juices you, but talk to me about a day in the life of, okay, so I already know that you get up really early, you go and pump a bunch of iron, you do some sort of a CrossFit workout, like two every morning. So you get to Purity Life, you do, what's your life like to sustain what it is that you are achieving here?
Well, I should say I feel very fortunate to be in an industry that I am passionate about. I mean, I enjoy shopping at health food stores. I enjoy going to shows and discovering products and using them, whether it's supplement, health and beauty, or food. We were just at a show on the weekend on our own in Quebec City, Manger Santé, seeing all the various brands in the Quebec marketplace. And so
Yeah.
for myself personally, it's pretty easy to get juiced every day coming to Purity Life, because I really enjoy working with the products, interacting with them. And so for me, it's more of a lifestyle than anything else. And so to sustain that lifestyle and have that energy, yes, every morning we get up very early, and we work out twice. We lift weights. We do CrossFit. We, eat a very specific diet. We're flexitarian, but it's a specific diet of health. We take our supplements, but the core is, work out every day, get the right amount of sleep, eat the right amount of food, add on some supplements, and that's going to, create longevity for yourself and allow you to add life to your years, not years to your life. Because ultimately, from my perspective, we want to be able to live as independently with as much vigor as long as possible. And that's not just the amount of years, but also how many years you're able to live independently until you
Yeah.
move on to the next chapter of your life, wherever that is.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
Yeah.
we invest a lot of time and energy in that because one, it's a big part of our business here at Purity Life. That's what we are standing for. So we want to, be good role models, but also it's something that excites us every day to be able to do it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm reading the Comfort Crisis, Michael Easter. Have
Right.
you ever read it?
No.
So anyway, don't have to tell you that we've got a world where leaning into discomfort is not what's happening in pretty much any realm whatsoever. But the people who are leading in significant ways have learned how to lean into discomfort. So that could be psychological discomfort, emotional discomfort, stepping into very difficult conversations, physical discomfort of going to absolute failure on a rep or whatever, and also just living a lifestyle where you say no to certain things because you are saying, I'm actually investing in Matthew James' future self, 20 years out. And so there are a lot of different ways that we lean into discomfort. One of the things that you've been working on is shifting the organization from parenting to partnering, which is like such a massive shift. There's a ton of comfort that we find in parenting because it
Yes.
bolsters my identity as a solution provider or a helicopter or that nurturing person or whatever. But there's a ton of discomfort in actually shifting to no partnering, holding out for each other's highest good. And that means we bring all the hard and we bring all the soft. Can you just talk a little bit about that journey for you of shifting from parenting to partnering and where leaning into discomfort fits in that?
Sure. Yes. Definitely. It's that's one of the areas we focused a lot on here at Purity Life is about how to have difficult conversations because we've had many scenarios here, and I use this euphemism, which is A, you're fired. And it's like, whoa, how is that possible? They were A in all these yearly reviews, but now you want them to be fired? What happened?
Right.
And
Right.
it's usually that ruinous empathy where leaders are trying to be empathetic, but in the process, avoid the difficult conversations. And then all of a sudden, it gets to a point where, okay, now we got to part ways, and it becomes a big surprise either to the individual
Yeah.
or others of well, how they were an A before, and now they're D minus, and you want them out the door. And it's usually because these difficult conversations haven't been haven't happened. Too much parenting, not enough partnering, too much ruinous empathy versus candor. And so we've gone through a few learning journeys in that regard to really work on leaders and managers here on how to have difficult conversations. It's not easy for I'd say for everyone actually. Nobody really likes it unless you're maybe
Yeah.
some sociopath, I don't know. But it's hard. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
for me personally, I look at some of these CrossFit workouts we do, and you got to get yourself in a pain cave, and you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and it's psychologically hard sometimes. And so now I say to
Yeah.
myself, that workout was actually harder than me having to sit in front of this employee and tell themselves just like mentally. But that's over time. That's kind of how I've worked with being in an uncomfortable situation, being in this pain cave, working out, realizing how hard it is, and that it's a mental game, and then you get out
Yeah.
of it and you feel better afterwards. Well, it's kind of the same when you're facing an employee, when you gotta have a difficult conversation. You're not looking forward to it. It's difficult, and then you just got to have it and get through it. Ultimately, the person receiving the information, they don't initially like what they hear, but over
Yeah.
time, it builds respect, I would say, and trust, probably more
Yeah.
trust than respect. And that will help you get them to a better place for them to improve versus just providing the ruinous empathy that, ultimately ends in usually not a positive outcome for both parties. But it's
Mhm.
definitely a learning process. And, we've been working on this for so long, but even to as of last week, there's a few incidences here, and it's a challenge for people. They want to parent, they want to show empathy, but then that usually blows up, and not in a positive way, unfortunately, because they chose not to have a difficult conversation that was required with somebody to readjust the reality of the way they're viewing something. And so that is a continual learning journey with no destination that we will just continue trying to teach here. And we're all students. Some are more evolved than others, but it does not come naturally to most people. And it's just something you really got to work at.
Oh my goodness. You know, I think I may have mentioned this the other day, but Bo CEO, the world champion debater from Harvard, he's got this quote that agreeability and just having to be liked, having to be nice at the cost of candor is an act of self-betrayal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's quite a thing to say that, but I've come to believe that when we've got a truth that we need to speak that would be helpful for somebody, we've got feedback that could really advance their career, help them be more aware or more skillful, more highly productive, and we hold that back. It's an act of betrayal to them for sure, but it's also an act of
Sure.
self-betrayal because the churn and the tax that we pay on those unaddressed conversations, and we make up all sorts of reasons. It's going to hurt them. They're going to blow up. It's going to destroy the relationship. But at the base of it, we're not leaning into discomfort.
Very true. Better
And
outcomes
I
come when people
love,
are prepared to be in that zone of discomfort talking about things.
yeah, and I just love how you've learned how to parlay from different realms of your life, whether it's the workout at CrossFit, and say, yeah, I can actually parlay that into speaking with an employee. And I do think that we can borrow from some of the different realms of our life where we've learned how to step into discomfort and learn how to shift from parenting to partnering.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So exciting times for you. It's going to be a journey, but it really feels like the flywheel is starting to move in the right way, and I'm totally excited to see where Purity Life's going to be like 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now. It's going to be amazing.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your work in helping us on this journey.
Yeah, no, it's been my honor and my privilege. I want to thank you so much for being involved. So people want to learn more about Purity Life. What's the very best way, Matthew?
Certainly, you can follow us on social media. So we're across all the social media channels, whether it's Instagram,
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Facebook, also puritylife.com. You'll find all the details there. We are a B2B business, so we are distributing products to retailers. We don't interact directly a lot with consumers, and so
Yep.
more on the business side, but you can definitely see all the brands that we distribute, all our 7 warehouses across the country, and the values and we have a corporate responsibility report that talks about many of the things that I've talked about in terms of what really drives us as a company. We believe in being very transparent in that, and so we put that up on our website so people can pull that down and take a look at it, especially new employees that want to learn more about Purity Life and what we're all about.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I know you got 1,000 things to do, and it's not lost on me that you spent some time with us on the podcast today. So all the best to you, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Brady. Appreciate you having me. Take care.